Okay, there we go. I always forget, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is John Nichols. I work with the EEDC, the Emancipation Economic Development Council. We are tasked with the preservation, the revitalization, and the protection of the historic Third Ward. And we do that from currently from a space of capacity building with businesses to drive economic development. And then we also do some residential engagement that looks like some family nights, that looks like a CSA food delivery and pickup program that we currently have on Fridays, and several other things that we do. The Civic Club, the Third Ward is Home Civic Club, things like that we do within the Third Ward area. Because of that, part of our relationship building and us being able to go out in the community and make and do our work, so to speak, depends upon and sometimes heavily upon partnerships like the one we have with the Emancipation Park Conservancy, a la Patrina Johnson, who is here, who said, hey, look, so we have an opportunity to do some really good work in the community with regard to businesses. We'd love to partner with you in order to get that done. And so they went and found the money, and we went and did the work. And so we're very appreciative of it and thankful for it. For those that are on it, that if you do have the ability to show your video, I'd like to ask that you do, just so that we're all present and we see each other. It kind of gives a different dynamic to a workshop versus us just seeing words in black boxes or dark gray boxes. So greatly appreciate that if you can. So we will actually go ahead and get started. I'll give Patrina a chance to introduce herself and talk about the park and the Conservancy, and then we will turn it over to LaCheryl Ivy, who will introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what we're going to see and do today.
Thank you, John. Hello, and I want to thank you all again for joining us for today's training. It is sponsored by Comcast NBCUniversal Foundation. My name is Patrina Johnson, and I'm the Development Associate at Emancipation Park Conservancy. The Conservancy was formed to create a renewed cultural, learning, and recreational gathering place in the city of Houston. Our mission is to enhance Emancipation Park by preserving its integrity and enriching its heritage as a local, state, national, and international landmark. The Conservancy strives to work collaboratively with our community partners in order to provide educational, economic empowering, and health and wellness content to its constituents. So for this reason, we are so excited, like John said, to be partnering with EEDC in this TechPivot series. Now, though Emancipation Park's amenities are limited during this pandemic, we do encourage you to visit our website for our virtual offerings at www.epcconservancy.org, and also follow us on social media at EP Conservancy. So we look forward to seeing you at the park once it's open to its full capacity. Thank you again for joining us, and please enjoy the presentation.
Awesome, thank you so much, Patrina. So we will pass it on to LaCheryl with Intrinsic Business Solutions. She can tell us a little bit about who she is, her business, and then a little bit about what to expect for this workshop. And then, as they say at the church programs, she'll be the last voice you hear today. Ain't that what they say when they? So go ahead, LaCheryl, take it away.
Thank you, John. So as John stated, my name is LaCheryl Ivy, and I am with Intrinsic Business Solutions, and I also have a tax office, Universal Taxes and Solutions. And so what I do is I provide business consultations to individuals like yourself who are small or mid-sized businesses. And in addition to that, I also provide tax and business tax services. And so what my goal is today is hopefully just to kind of help bridge the gap between accounting and technology, and to help you to better understand how those two worlds can come together to make your world better or your life easier as you manage through your day-to-day business transactions. And, hopefully in doing so, you'll be better prepared to file your business taxes at the end of the year. So that's what I hope to be able to share with you all today. But again, this is definitely a informal situation. My goal is to help service you the best way that I can. So if there's anything specific that you want to know, please feel free to put your question in the chat. And if there's anything that I haven't covered that you have any concerns or questions about, or if you need me to clarify anything, again, please indicate that in the chat, and I'll do the best that I can to help clarify any questions or concerns that you may have. So before, let's see, let me make sure I have sharing capabilities. John, am I able to share my screen? Yes, okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the presentation. And I never do this on my MacBook. I always do it on my other computer. So y'all just bear with me while I get to my desktop. I call myself putting it on the desktop so it'll be easy to find. And here I am scrambling, trying to find it. You know what, better yet, we'll just go to the email, send it to myself. There we go. All right. Okay, thank you for your patience. So again, the purpose of this is to help bridge accounting and technology. But first, I want to make sure that we all understand the difference between accounting and bookkeeping, because there is a difference. So again, like I said, my goal is to help you to see how these two entities can work together to better help you to understand your business. So to break off into the difference between accounting versus bookkeeping, accounting is how one records, organizes, and understands its financial information. The process includes summarizing, analyzing, and reporting transactions to your respective agencies. On the other hand, bookkeeping is the recording.
Cheryl, I'm going to pause just for a second. Make sure it's just not me. Can anyone see the presentation? I see a white. Yeah, we see a white screen.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to do. It says I'm sharing. Let's see. Share desktop. Oh, it says whiteboard. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all see that?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay. So back to accounting, bookkeeping, and technology. Thank you, John, for that. So accounting is, like I said, how one records, organizes, and understands its financial information. Bookkeeping is the recording of financial transactions, and it is part of the accounting process. So your transactions include your purchases, your sales, receipts, payments, any income made by any organization who's paying you, or any vendors that you're paying. The recording of that data, that's what we call bookkeeping. The analyzing of that data is what we call accounting. So if you are wanting, 3, 6, 9, 12-month projections from the data through bookkeeping, is how we come up with those projections. And that part of it is called accounting. So for any business, in order for you to be able to record your transactions, there's various ways to do that, right? And so I want to be clear. You don't have to initially subscribe to any accounting software right off the bat. If you're just getting started, you have a few transactions here and there per month. There are various options that you can choose from. there's literally a limitless number of platforms that you can even download on your cellular device. Some of the most popular options, which I've highlighted here today, of course, is Excel, which I'll show you some examples in that. You can build from your Excel spreadsheet a budget template where you have actuals versus your budget. You can track your cash flow. You can pretty much do anything that you want within Excel. It just takes the level of the capability to be able to build, put in the equations and things of that nature for it to give you the output that you're looking for. Okay. One of the most popular accounting platforms, of course, is QuickBooks. Now, QuickBooks has desktop version and the online version. If you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, I personally recommend the online version as opposed to desktop. If you have a pretty robust business, you're not new to this and you've been in business for a while, desktop could be the better option for you. It just depends. It depends on if you have multiple companies and just how robust your transactions are from a day-to-day basis. But typically, QuickBooks Online, in my opinion, would be the optimal solution for anyone who has their own business. And likewise, Xero, it's web-based as well. Excuse me, and it virtually mirrors QuickBooks. It's not quite, it doesn't have as much market share as QuickBooks has at the current moment, but it's virtually the same. I've gone through trainings for both, and they're both the same. Xero is more of a boutique accounting software, as opposed to QuickBooks is pretty well known. So I've also so before we get into this, let me go ahead and share with you, well, I'll continue on and then we'll go through the different platforms. So what I wanted to share with you also are different applications that are compatible with QuickBooks Online, or they can stand alone, and you can purchase them as an independent service, and they don't have to marry with QuickBooks Online. So I've provided some inventory tracking apps that you can, like I said, get on your own independently or merge with whatever accounting software that you're using. SOS Inventory will provide you the option to track your inventory, your merchandise. So let's say your inventory gets low. You can set your limits within your inventory count. It'll notify you when your items get to a certain level for you to restock, for you to reorder, and things of that nature. Shopify is quite popular as well. And a lot of websites, retail stores that have online presence, they use Shopify because Shopify is pretty much compatible with any accounting platform that you're using. And they also provide you the option to be able to make payment, arrangements through Shopify, where you can break things down in a certain number of payments. They allow you to track your shipping through your orders, your inventory orders. So it's very user-friendly for not only the client, but also your end user, who would be your customer. And then we also have Webgility, who allows you to track your inventory as well. So these are just 3 different options. I didn't want to try to steer you in one way or say one is better than the other. They all provide the same level of service. It's really boils down to the level of comfortability for you. And then we have applications to consider for timekeeping. So this is primarily if you have, of course, employees, even if you have contractors. So there are some companies who may have projects in different locations, and you send your contractors or employees to these different sites. These applications will merge. The star asterisk indicates that it's compatible with QuickBooks Online. But each of these are some options as well if you don't have QuickBooks or any other accounting software. And they allow you, what's really cool with these different timekeeping applications, they have the geo-tracking metric in all of their apps. So with us being virtual, this is very important because not everybody has a brick and mortar now. So if you are working virtual, but you still want to hold your employees or your contractors accountable, you can set up a geo tracking on their phone, right? Well, it's within the app. So whenever an individual is ready to time in, it will calculate their geo space, right? And if they're not in the proximity that you indicate as to where they're supposed to be for their job space, it will not allow them to time in or clock in. So let's say if I'm supposed to be off of Emancipation and I'm in Cyprus and I know I'm running late, let me just clock in real quick so I can get this extra 30 minutes. I'm not in the geo space specified for me to be able to clock in to account for me being at work, and it will not allow me to do so. In addition, once they log into the app, so it's not that you're tracking where they are when they're off the clock, but once they clock in, it will notify you that they're not within a specified location. They won't be able to clock in. So that allows you a level of security in knowing that there's some honesty there. There's some accountability there. So that's what I think is really cool about all of these timekeeping options. And again, they all do the same thing. They all provide the same thing. Some of these apps may be more geared, and I think its ability is more geared toward like construction sites and things like that, but they all have virtually the same similar capabilities as far as timekeeping is concerned. And you don't have to have a time machine for them to punch into. What makes this so nice is that for all of these that are compatible with QuickBooks Online, once the individual clocks in, it tallies up their hours, it does all the math within the app, and all you have to do is push a button and it sends it straight to QuickBooks to calculate your payroll for you. So it eliminates you having to do the data entry. So that's the most important part to highlight about these applications. And then we have mileage tracking applications. So this is a big deal, and it's so ironic that this workshop is today. I just met with a client earlier this afternoon, and they went to another tax office before working with us last year for their this year for their 2019 taxes. They went to another tax office the year prior for 2018. And they have a business, so they filed a Schedule C on their tax return. Unfortunately, their tax preparer was not, I don't know the best word to say. They weren't the most professional and the most ethical. And so they had outlandish, I can guarantee you, what caused them to get audited is their mileage. So this gentleman does poetry, I believe is his business. He gets paid to come and appear at different events and do live poetry and things like that. Well, the tax preparer submitted his tax return with 65,000 miles for business in 2018. Now, I don't know about you guys, but you got to do a lot of talking and a lot of poetry to rack up 65,000 miles in 1 year, strictly for business. So with that being said, that's a awesome segue for this. So if he indeed racked up 65,000 miles, let's say he drove from California to New York and back a few times that year, right? Maybe he did, but you're going to need to be able to prove it. And unfortunately, they can't, right? So if you have one of these apps, and it does take some discipline, I will be honest with you, it does take discipline. It won't automatically track that you are going to work because it doesn't know. But if you have the discipline, even if it's just to say, when I get in my car, turn the app on. Any of these apps will track your mileage to and from wherever you're going. And really, it's just having a level of discipline to turn it on when you get in the car, stop it when you get to where you're going. Even if because it has the geo tracking system, right? So let's say you just turn it on, and when you get to where you're going, let's say you let it track throughout the day. It will track where you're going. And you can indicate, okay, this portion, this 32 miles today was for business. The goal here is for you to have documentation to support your mileage, right? Now, again, it helps you to be accurate in your mileage reporting when it comes to taxes. But if you're filing your taxes and you're within reason, there's ways to get around it, right? If you Google and you say, listen, I have proof that I was here, and you Google Maps and you show your mileage, you can do that as well. But why do that when you can allow these apps to track it for you? It'll print out you a report. It does all of the work for you, and it makes it really makes your life easier. It does. Timey trip log, and MileQ, the mileage tracker, all of those simply track your miles from start to finish throughout the day, wherever you're going. It will track your mileage from point A to point B. I indicated HyperTrack for those who may have any type of fleet service or you're in logistics. So let's say you have a trucking company or something of that sort, or you're in logistics and you have a driver who has multiple stops within a day. Well, HyperTrack will allow the driver to say, I started here, I checked in, I made it to Kroger, okay, and I dropped off a load at Kroger. It will allow them to time in, it'll allow them to time out, it will allow them to tell when they got to Kroger, what their wait time at Kroger was, and when they started on their next trek to their next stop, on the log for that day. So it's a little bit more intricate, where it allows them to really track where they're starting and stopping at each location for each vendor. And that may be important for some companies, because if a driver says that he showed up with a load at point A, when really he was over here at point D and he never even made it at A, that app allows you to track that. It allows you to see exactly through the geo service. It allows you to see what's going on while they're on the clock working for you. So that's something to keep consider if you're within logistics. Okay.
But Cheryl, quick
Yes, sir.
question. We have a question in the chat. Are there fees associated with these apps? Are they free?
Great question. And so all of these have a fee. Okay. Now, some of these fees may be reduced if they are integrated with QuickBooks, because they have a partnership with QuickBooks. If they're standalone, and all of them have their pricing. So that's why I wanted to provide the logo as well as the name. All you have to do is Google it, or you can even go to, and I may have it, I think I had everything set up on my other work computer. If you go to QuickBooks applications, it'll have a slew of them. It has a list of all of them. And let me see, I'll pull it up for you really quickly. QuickBooks tries to make it pretty easy for you. And so the ones, popular ones, not to say that this is all that there is. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of QuickBooks applications. Let me do this. Applications compatible with QuickBooks Online. So there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apps. So you can come here and you can sort by category, right? So for example, if we did the track time, there are hundreds and hundreds of apps, some for specific law firms, some for just general employee timekeeping. There are hundreds of them. And if you click on them, they will tell you, they'll break down the pricing if you're independent. And it's inexpensive, right? So for example, Time Tracker by eBility. It's an $8 per month base fee, and then $4 per employee. So it's nothing extremely extravagant. It's very manageable, right? And just based on the level of access that you need will determine, how the fees are associated. But it's pretty nominal. I mean, it's minimal. It's not extremely robust, where it's something that you really gotta bite your nails over. And again, none of these have a long-term contract. You're not locked into anything. It's simply, these are just options to help you better manage your business. Again, all of these are just in addition, right? So you don't have to use these apps, but they do help to make your life easier, especially the mileage, because I find that that's where a lot of companies get tricked up, or a lot of business owners get tripped up, is with the mileage, And again, the apps make your life easier, but they don't do all the work. So some of it is on us to be disciplined and remember to cut the app on, let us know, let the app know you're out here, you're on the road. And so where should we go? So thank you, Eric. And I was just introduced to Wave app maybe a day or two ago. I was meeting with a client. It's a smaller app based out of Canada, and it is free. And it allows you to track your expenses. You can upload your receipts, all that good stuff. You're even able to link your bank account as well. So it does a lot of the same things that QuickBooks does in Xero. I'm not sure of the level of support that they offer, being that they are a Canadian-based company. But I've recently been introduced to Wave, and from my client, they said so far they like it. Again, she said she doesn't really have more than about 20, transactions a month. So she's fairly small. It's not a lot going on, but it is a free app. And that's a good segue because I want to introduce you to a few options within the QuickBooks. And QuickBooks is where I'm most familiar because that's what I use with the majority of my clients. As you can see, and we won't listen to the whole 2-minute video, but I do want you to kind of see the differences in the QuickBooks Online options. It's fairly inexpensive. Like it says, simple start, $10 a month, right? Essentials, which is what I recommend most of my clients do. Essentials, it will allow you up to 3 users. So let's say there's you and there's another accountant or somebody that's partnering with you. It allows multiple logins up to 3. Excuse me, and it allows you limited inventory features. So depends on how robust your inventory stock is if you have a retail business, but it does provide you the option to catalog your inventory. But most importantly, which is why we're all here, right, is for you to be able to manage your expenses, for you to be able to track your expenses and categorize them so that you can have a profit and loss statement at the end of the year. And a profit and loss statement in simple terms is simply your income minus your expenses, and then that's your net profit or loss. So you want to be able to provide that because through your profit and loss statement is how you generate your documentation for your tax return for your business. So it's fairly important. But again, before we even start here, and you can kind of see at a high level, again, I say I recommend essentials for everyone that's getting started. If you have payroll, you may want to venture off into QuickBooks Plus. And then if you have a more robust company where you have a lot of moving parts, you may want to consider the advanced. But for most individuals starting off, and even most clients that I have that have been in business for several years, the essentials or the plus is more than enough to be able to accomplish your goals, okay? It will allow you reporting capabilities for you to be able to run reports, and it will produce a profit and loss statement for you. Let's see. I mean, it's essentially however you need to see your numbers, however you need to analyze them, you can break these reports down by customer. So you can see how much you're spending with customers or how much customers are spending with you on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. It will allow you to see what products you sell the most of. If you have a logistics company, it will allow you to see what stops you go to the most, what customer you frequent the most, where the bulk of your business is coming from. And so with that, because I think it's important that we always realize it's not imperative for you to have an accounting software if you feel like you don't need it. If you feel like you're pretty capable within the Excel realm, listen, feel free to do so. And I will show you. I'm going to go ahead and pull these up here. So first I'm going to show you the budget. So I had a client about 7 years ago, started off small. He just needed some help. And okay, it's pulling up. He just needed some help getting going. He thought he had things in order in line, and he didn't at the time. And so what I did was I built this spreadsheet in Excel just so he can kind of get his bearings and see where he was at, okay? Like I said, it was 7 years ago, so bear with me, guys. But let me see if I can zoom this in for you so it makes it a little bit more clear.
Ms. LaCheryl,
Yes, ma'am.
we only see you. We don't see your shared screen.
Oh, man. Okay, let me see what's going on. Thank you for that again. Okay. Oh, yep, it defaulted to whiteboard. Okay, thank you. Okay, here we go. So I built this spreadsheet, and it's, in a nutshell, these are, so here's the budget, right? And it's just you going through the spreadsheet and indicating whatever categories you need as to where you generate expenses, right? So here's the operating expenses. This is for a trucking company. So we just went through what's our insurance for the month, what's our maintenance for the trucks, whatever your business is, you have a good idea of what your monthly routine expenses look like, right? And so just go through, plop those in, give yourself an estimated budget, and then you can go through and put in the actuals and measure that against, that's not going. Anywho, I'm not sure why it's not. Did I disconnect? Can you all still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. My computer is not moving, so it's freaking me out. Okay, there we go. So you just put in your actuals, and this is what gives you a picture of what the standing of your business looks like. So when I say profit and loss statement, that's exactly what this is, guys. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It doesn't have to be high level. Your profit and loss statement is simply this. Here's your income for the month of January through December. Here are your expenses. And then here's your net profit or your net loss. As you see in May, if we take the income minus the expenses, there was a net loss that month. So this just allows you to have a picture of where do I stand this month. And this is the biggest thing I want to emphasize when it comes to accounting and technology is oftentimes we just go through the motions and we don't take the time to figure out am I profitable? If I'm not profitable, what do I need to do different to operate in a positive space, right? We just get used to when we get a check, that check normally is already spent before we get it. Sometimes we're just going on a roller coaster, and I hope this is the case for all of you all. There's a surplus of income and it's coming faster than we can keep up with. And so it's very important for you to understand your financial picture for your business on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. And so that's all this shows you here. It's just literally putting in your income for the month, all of your expenses, and here's your net profit or your net loss for that month. In addition to that, let's see if I can pull up the cash flow. And then I'll see if it pops up or if I have to go share my screen again.
And Ms. LaCheryl, while you're pulling that up, we do have a question.
Perfect.
Will everyone be able to receive a copy of your template?
Absolutely. I will definitely make this template available for everyone. And if there's anything in here that you all need that I'm not, that you like me to highlight, please indicate that as well. And I will do my best to try to emphasize anything or clarify whatever needs to be clarified for you all. Okay, are you able to see the cash flow sheet, or do I need to go do something on my screen again? Resume share. Are you able to see it?
No, we are still on your example business budget.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. We're gonna figure this thing out, guys. Don't you worry.
Oh, sorry. Do you want us to put our emails in the chat so that you can send us the link, or are you just going to email it to John and he can get it to us?
John, you let me know what's easier, what works best for you to be able to share the information.
You can be able to email it to John, and then at the end of the webinar, he's going to send the entire group, everyone who registered, a copy of the template and the PowerPoint, etc.
Perfect. Okay. And let me go find this screen that shared. That says
And
share.
while she's sharing that, John sends his apologies. He just had a family emergency, so he did have to jump off. So I'll be here. I'm trying to monitor the chat and the questions, and I'll forward them on to you, Ms. LaCheryl.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Because I'm trying to find it. It gets crazy. So thank you for your assistance. Okay. So this is the cash flow. And so basically what we did, as you receive your checks or Zelles or Cash Apps or whatever you receive for your income for your business, be sure to document it. So again, QuickBooks makes this easy because as it comes in, it'll automatically categorize it, and I can log into, this is my trucking company, so I can log into our trucking company and kind of show you what that looks like. But this is from a high level point of view. Again, if you're not ready to invest in an accounting platform for your expenses and your income and tracking all of your transactions, that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this, okay? So I just listed all of our clients here. I tracked each of, and this was the year the trucking company got started. It actually started in 2013. And so you'll see everything started in May, and I tracked how much we made from each customer the first year. And so what this is, and there's all kinds of metrics within Excel that will allow you to determine who's doing what. I just set thresholds, and I wanted to know once we got to a certain threshold, highlight it a certain color. Once we get to another threshold, highlight it another color. Because what this will do is help you to focus on who do I need to pay attention to, right? Oftentimes, because we have a good relationship with a certain client, we may tend to show them a little bit more attention or favoritism, where maybe another client, so maybe I have a good relationship with this client who spent $10,000 with me, almost $11,000, but I'm not realizing that I'm making 3 times the amount with this other client. I probably should pay a little bit more attention to this client who's spent $30,000 with me versus the client who spent 11. So this is just a high level view to help you to see, who do I need to focus on? Where is the bulk of my business coming from? And then this helps you to do analysis, right? So what's generating the business with this particular client? Is it just that they're a bigger company? Do they just have more business? And so that generates more business for me. Is it the location? Figure out what that is, because then maybe there are like clients in that area likewise that you should be focusing on that may also be another $30,000 revenue generating client for you as well. So this just helps you to see where your cash flow is coming from and what you're doing on a month-to-month basis from a client perspective outside of the overall budget versus actuals. And so this is really key, guys, because we learned from this template in itself before we got to QuickBooks or anything else. This Excel template alone really helped us to analyze what our business was doing. And as you can see, the growth, right? So we went from $128,000 in 2013 to $420,000 in 1 year. Why? Because of these metrics. Technology can be your friend. We started looking at who are we generating income with, and then that's who we prioritized. So let's say we get 5 calls in that morning for stops. Well, guess what? AJ Metals, that's who we're going to prioritize because they spent $233,000 with us in 2014, right? Versus AKF Recycling, who spent $600 or $1,800. They won't get the priority when it comes to a list of who do we service first, because that's not where the bulk of our revenue is streaming from. So these different metrics are there to help you to analyze your business, to figure out ways to grow, to figure out ways to better network, how to build relationship with your clients. These simple metrics can help you to do that. So I just want to emphasize, don't feel like you have to adopt any particular accounting software or anything of that nature. Everything you need is right at your fingertips with something as simple as Excel, right? So let's not abandon what we know, what works. You're right. Excel, everybody's used that from middle school, high school, and on. So it can happen in Excel. Just to give you an example of, and I do apologize. I use Zoom I use my MacBook for all of my Zoom calls, and I have everything on my work computer is not a Mac. It's like a Lenovo or somebody. And so I can do that like with the back of my hand. My MacBook, I just use it for fun, just to be cute here. So bear with me, and hopefully Quickbooks Online. That's not it. I have it. I had it up earlier today. I pulled all this up just so that I could show you all and not have to do this, but that's okay. We're gonna figure it out. QuickBooks. So now I'm gonna log into my company's account just to give you an idea of what it looks like, what the online platform looks like. Again, you don't have to do anything extravagant. Yep, that's the one I needed. Oh Lord. Oh, I'm on a different network. Let's see if I log into this again. Lord. Okay, it's not recognizing this computer, and this is my work phone, and my work phone is in the car. So what I will do for you all though, because I do want you to be able to see what that looks like, is I will provide screenshots in this presentation. I'll provide some screenshots just so you all can see what it looks like when you're on QuickBooks Online, and just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. But it literally is just a cute, fancy way of what Excel will do. It's the same information, the same data. The benefits of QuickBooks Online or any other platform like the Wave app, like Eric suggested earlier, is that it will do a lot of this for you. So it removes you from having to do the data entry. And that's really the only benefit for it. But QuickBooks will pull in your banking data. And what I love about a lot of these apps is they're very intuitive. So let's say if you have some of your transactions are from Shell or Chevron or Burger King or Papa Do's, it will intuitively say, this looks like meals and entertainment from Papa Do's. So it will try to intuitively categorize some of these things for you so that you don't have to start from scratch. If it's from Shell's, it'll say this looks like a car or a vehicle expense. It'll automatically categorize some of those things for you, which helps to expedite the process, right? But again, it's the same information that you would put in your Excel spreadsheet. It's just the difference is you're doing the data entry and QuickBooks isn't doing it for you. So hopefully I've enlightened you on a few things. Let me see, do I have any questions? Are we able to? Yes, you are. Am I done? Was that the bulk of the presentation? I think that was everything. Again, you're not in this process alone. So if you ever have any questions or if you're in doubt, don't hesitate to contact a professional. A lot of people will allow you to have a consultation for free. Your first consultation is free, or at least the first hour will be free of consultation. Either way, it's always better to get the information on the front end, start off on the right track initially, and then once you feel like you have a good grasp of things and you're able to manage it on your own, take off and fly with wings, right? But get started on the front end with the confidence of knowing that you're doing things in the right manner. You're reporting everything the way that it's supposed to be reported, because the success of your business depends on you. And again, don't be afraid of the technology. It's here to help you, especially in this virtual world. It's built for us to be able to operate in a better fashion in this virtual world. So they're trying to let everything merge and talk to each other to make your life easier. So don't feel overwhelmed by it. If you don't understand, it's okay. There's somebody out there that can hold your hand, walk you through it, make sure you understand it until you get a good grasp of it on your own. And that concludes everything that I have. Again, if you have any questions, my information will be made available to you. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have over the presentation. If there's anything that was too high level, I reviewed it too fast, let me know. I don't mind going back over it and walking through it. I know we have until 7 p.m. and I'm respectful of everybody's time. So I'm more than happy to try to send you emails or respond as best as I can to give you any one-on-one answers that you have. And again, hopefully this presentation was informative and helpful for you all to grow and strive in your businesses. And
Ms.
I'll turn it back
Michelle,
over to
we are
you.
so appreciative of all of the information you gave. I know that you said that they can feel free to email you, but right now we have about 9 minutes. So if you have a burning question, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask any questions that you may have. She's here and we'll be more, she'll be more than happy to answer. So if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask a question for her.
And if there are any industries that you all have and there's an app, or if there's something that you're wondering, is there an app for your particular industry that may better help you to navigate through your expenses and things like that, please let me know. And if I don't know, I'll be the first to say it, but I will research and get the information for you if I can. No, everybody's good? Well, that makes me feel good. That must mean I did my job.
Oh, there is a question.
Okay, perfect.
How does depreciation work?
Great question. So depreciation works on a 25 to 27 year scale, and it depends on the asset. Let me start there. So depreciation depends on the asset, and that will determine the rate in which it will depreciate. It's generally automatically calculated through a software, but what you'll do is put in your purchase price. You'll put in when you purchased the asset, and each year it'll automatically calculate a depreciation based on the life of that asset. So vehicles have a different depreciation rate than, let's say, your home. If you have rental property or your own home, or if you rent a space for your business that you own, again, this has to be an asset of yours. So you can't depreciate something that you don't own. So it has to be your asset or something that you're financing, right? So I have a client that's a dentist. All of her equipment in her dentistry is listed in, all of the assets are listed, and they are automatically on a depreciation schedule that when you prepare your taxes, it automatically generates a depreciation amount for each year. And it's normally balanced. So it's going to be generally the same amount every year that will automatically calculate the depreciation. Vehicles are the same. Those are the most common assets. Any type of, most common depreciation items, anything that's an asset of your business is what's depreciated. So like you can't depreciate a cell phone, right? It has to be an asset that is like a fixed asset for your business. So mostly vehicles, land, or fixed assets within your office space is what we would depreciate.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any end of year tax reduction strategies, recommendations? End of year, unfortunately, so this is what a lot of people ask, and really tax strategies take place throughout the year. So you always want to have your business cap on to figure out, how can I make this tax deductible? Ask yourself, is this a business expense? My number one suggestion that I give to my clients is, you're a business owner now, right? So take off your personal hat, put on your business hat, and whatever you do, how can I navigate this in a way that it's a business transaction? So if you are going to lunch, talk about your business, strategize on how to grow your business within that lunch. If you are meeting someone, if you're taking a trip, find a way to associate it with business. And I'm not just saying, hey girl, I work in intrinsic business solutions. Okay, let's eat. No, let's really, find a way to seriously strategize, network, how can you build your brand and your business while doing whatever it is that you're doing? And that's why you see some people that wherever you go, they're handing out cards. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? This is what I do. I love to connect with you. I love to meet with you. That just became a business transaction, right? Even if you have a 5-minute conversation with somebody and you give them your elevator pitch on what you do and you love to figure out how you can work with them, that just became a business transaction. So always think, how can I make this a business transaction and how can that work for me? Because once it's a business transaction, it's tax deductible. So for end of the year strategies, it's not a lot I can offer up other than donating to charities is one of the best way to be able to do that is to donate to, like she said, Angel Tree, Adopt a Family for the holidays. Those are some of the best ways to offset any business income is to make donations. Again, it has to be within reason, right? If you have $200,000 of net revenue, you can't go donating $100,000 somewhere and then say, oh, well, listen, I only got $100,000 net profit. That probably won't fly. But within reason, and generally it's about 10%, you're able to donate of your revenue to donations. Is there anything else I missed?
I don't have any more questions, but I did want to
Okay.
kind of go back. And pardon me if I mispronounced your name, Malika. She said, thank you for your time, LaCheryl. Jonathan said, great information.
Thank you.
Mary shared that I really felt value in your presentation, LaCheryl. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I wrap up the session, Erica would like to know if you could please just drop your contact information in the chat. I know we will share it with them in email, but just for immediate response, we just drop that in there. And to everybody, again, and then Sean also said thank you. If I missed anyone.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. You're on mute, Miss Johnson.
Thank you. Again, Ms. LaCheryl, thank you so much for the information. It was look, I even was taking notes because I can use some of those apps, especially when I'm traveling for talking to donors to track my mileage. So this is great. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And everyone, thank you for attending. These programming, we do provide them to you through sponsorships from donors and through grants. And so in order to make sure that we're giving you information or giving you presentations that are valuable to you, please complete our survey. I dropped the link in the chat. So if you will, that would mean the world to us. Again, thank you so much for attending this evening's workshop. We will be able to, John, pardon me, will be able to forward you the presentation and a couple of things, a template that Ms. LaCheryl said, and the screenshots from QuickBooks. So she'll be able to share those with you. If there are no other questions, we will end our webinar. Again, please make sure you click on that link in the chat, complete the survey, and we appreciate you guys.
Thank you all.
Have a good evening.
And I'll give you all a moment because I think if I end this session, you won't have access to that link. So I'll give you all a few minutes to go ahead and access the link for the survey. And then I think we have about 2 more minutes. So I'll give everybody until 7:01, and then I'll end the session. But thank you all for your time. I hope it was valuable, and good luck to each and every one of you in your business endeavors.
Thank you.
You're welcome.